My screen.
Okay, so I know those of you that thank you all for being here. You can't see me. I'm Reggie Costanzo. I'm the Education and Outreach Manager here at Brain Northwest, and I'm really grateful to be hosting this class with Deb today from B Money Coaching. She's going to be talking to us about micro saving, which is a really empowering topic, and she's a certified um, financial coach. Am I saying that correctly, Deb?
Money coach, financial coach.
Yes, great. So grateful for your expertise and your creativity, and thank you for being here. Take it away, my dear.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient and for sticking with me. This is a passionate that I'm really, this is a topic that I'm really passionate about, and I hope that it helps you think in creative ways and gives you that sort of little push to start building a habit of savings. So one of the things that is really startling for me to hear, but I'm not surprised, is that there are more than half of Americans don't have $400 saved to cover some kind of small emergency. And I'm hoping that this presentation today will kind of get you thinking of creative ways to start saving and to maybe hit that 400 goal so that you can be one of those people who can say, yes, I am ready for a $400 emergency. Um, the important thing here is to remember to work within your capabilities, and to not push yourself to do something that um, feels unachievable. It's everybody should set their own goals, and everybody has um, their own capacity for building a savings fund. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so that you can see what I'm doing here. Oh, let's see. All right. So can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and I'm hoping you can just see the presenter view so you don't have to read all my notes or anything. Is that you just see
Just
the screen
presenter
with
view.
the
Perfect. Yep,
Okay,
you're good.
cool. All right, so I'm going to share. So this is how to microsave, and I'm just going to share here a little bit about myself. I am a mother of three children. I am a Gen Xer, and I'm a caregiver to my mom, who is 92, and my sister, who just turned 50 in November. She has Down syndrome, and she's starting to show signs of cognitive decline and has a number of health issues. So I'm a caregiver for her. I myself am neurodivergent. I have a diagnosis of ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. I'm a money coach and I'm a Latina, which informs a lot about how I work within certain communities. I love coffee and I love it when it rains. And currently, I am reading a book by a therapist named Sahaj Karkoli on navigating relationships and boundaries with our immigrant parents, because my mother is an immigrant, and there are a lot of things that, having grown up here in the United States, um, don't always mesh with my mother, and so this is a really good book that I'm reading, and I just wanted to share that. All right, so what is microsaving? Microsaving is just how it sounds. It's saving tiny amounts of money and establishing a habit. So it's more about establishing a habit than it is about how much you're saving. So I didn't know, but when I was a kid, I was already microsaving because my mother would always tell me, pick up that quarter, that she saw on the street or on the ground, or pick up that penny or whatever, any amount of money. And then she would just stick it in a jar. Um, and that's how she saved. And she passed that on to my kids. And I asked my kids recently, do you guys still do that? Like, if you see money on the ground, do you pick it up? And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, we pick it up. And they save it in boxes and jars and envelopes. But that's just like one tiny way to just, I mean, I'm not saying you have to pick up coins from the ground, but just saving a quarter here or a nickel there and just putting it in a jar and just letting it collect is how micro saving starts. A lot of us started as a kid, as children, filling up our piggy banks or some kind of, jar that counted money. Um, and so, like I said before, it establishes a habit. And so, like I said, it's not about the amount, it's about establishing the habit. So, microsaving is great if you want to challenge yourself to save, if you need motivation to start the habit, if you are living paycheck to paycheck and maybe have a limited budget, and if you, like me, are neurodivergent and need something shiny or something that's kind of like a game to keep you engaged. All right. And there are no rules with microsaving. There's no set amount. It's adaptive to, however you want to save. You want to start saving in a jar, or you want to start saving via an app on your phone. You can do both. You can do one or the other. You can do anything you want. And then it's flexible because you can set a goal, you can just save randomly, you can save coins, you can save bills, you can save change. It's whatever you want to do. All right, and so here are 8 ways to get started. I have done most of these, and I'll share with you which one I'm currently doing when we get to it. So the first one here is payroll deductions. Some people will start with a very small amount, $5, if that's something that you can do. Have $5 put into savings, direct deposit into savings. Most employers these days can deposit not only in your checking account, but they can also deposit in one or two other accounts, and you can ask them to direct deposit $1, $3, $5, $10 into a savings account that's dedicated to collecting um your your savings. And then once you get into the habit of having that $5 or whatever amount you have, you've been doing that for a while, then maybe revisit that in 3 months and increase that by an amount that is feasible, that's easy for you. Maybe that's $3, maybe it's $5, maybe it's $10. Just something that gets you into the habit of seeing that money going into your savings account, because that is more motivating. And then as you see the money grow with the interest that you're making, you're going to be more motivated to continue saving. So this is the one that I'm currently doing right now. It's the weekday money challenge, weekday number challenge. And the way that works is that you pick a day of the week. Let's say you choose Monday. You pick a number. Let's say you pick 5. So every Monday, you check your bank balance. And if there is a 5 anywhere in that balance, you transfer $5 to your savings account. And my number is 9, and I haven't run across that number in a few days, and so I haven't been able to save, but so far I've saved like $18 since I started doing this about 3 weeks ago. All right. Use a jar or a coin bank to shove all of your spare change in. I have a friend of mine went to a meeting in London a few years ago and brought me back this little coin bank in the shape of a British post box. And if you haven't seen them, they're like these red, round, like cylindrical um, structures. And every time I come across change anywhere in my house, if I'm doing laundry, if I'm, in the car or whatever, I just stick it in that little coin bank. And I went to Ireland in September last year, and I was able to pull like $30 in coins out of that coin bank. Then once you hit a certain amount, like say $5, then you take that money and you deposit it into your savings account. So you want to make regular deposits into your savings account, maybe once or twice a month, or every time you hit a certain metric, like $5. If you ever use cash and you come across, say, a $1 bill, you can create a $1 challenge. So every time you come across a $1 bill or a $5 bill, you stick it in an envelope or you stick it in a box. And then once you reach a certain metric, like say $5, then you put that into your savings account. Sell stuff around your house. Um, I started about 3 years ago. It occurred to me that one of the best ways to not only bring in a little bit of extra cash would be to sell things that we don't use around the house. I sell on eBay, I sell on Facebook Marketplace, I sell on OfferUp, and I always try to get paid via Zelle or Venmo, and I connected those platforms to my high yield savings account. So every time I get paid, that money goes straight into my savings account. I try not to take cash, but if I do, I just stick it in my little cash box. But connecting your Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, whatever you have, whatever you use to get paid, or whatever you use to transact money in a fast way, if you connect that to your savings account, you can just have that money go automatically into your savings and start building your savings that way. All right, round up. There are some banks that will sweep extra money from your checking account into a savings account. My credit union doesn't do this, but my online bank does this for me. And last year, they swept about, I think it was $77 from my checking account into my savings account. But you can do this yourself. If you if you buy something that costs, let's say you pay 10.50, then your bank or you can round up the difference, which would be 50 cents because you're going to the next dollar. Um, you can sweep that into your savings account. So what that does is even though it's a little bit of money, it's still micro saving and it's still putting money and making the habit of putting money into your savings account. All right. And number seven is if you use cash ever to pay for something, I mean, I realize that a lot of us don't use cash as much these days, but if you ever use cash, get change back. So again, if you pay for something and it comes out to 10.82, then take the extra money, round up to the $11, and then take the difference, the 18 cents, and put that into when you get your change back, put it into a jar when you get home. And this is one that I've never done, but this is one that I found online and save the change when you use coupons. If you use a coupon for 50 cents off a gallon of milk, then take 50 cents and put it into your savings, whether that's by transferring it from your checking to your savings or by scrounging up 50 cents and putting it into a jar, then you can do that. That's another way to save money. All right. So once you develop the habit of saving, you can then start to save, you can start to set goals. Um, Maybe you decide after today that you want to save $100 by December 31st. So although the amount isn't as important as the action, the micro saving, the habit, the building of the action will help you get to that goal. And each time you get to you reach a milestone, like maybe you're a quarter of the way to your goal or halfway to your goal, then celebrate either by sharing with somebody who is an accountability partner or by posting about it on social media or just by telling somebody, hey, you know what? I have this goal and I'm a quarter of the way there. I'm $25 closer to my goal, I'm $50 closer, or when you meet your goal, celebrate that as well. So the idea is to start small and then build your way up. Just like when I talked about before with the payroll deductions. If you start with $5 and you do that for 3 months, you have $5 taken out of every paycheck for 3 months, revisit that in 3 months and increase that. How much do you want to increase it by? I don't know. Maybe $3, maybe $1. It's up to you. There are no rules. And one of the most important things is to accept setbacks as part of the process. Maybe you skipped a week, or maybe you had to dip into your savings because you had to pay for something. Then that may put you back to zero, or that may put you back to, only having $10. But celebrate the fact that you were actually using that money for a purpose. You had that money there and you were able to use it for this thing that you had to pay for. And also remember that unless somebody wins the lottery or unless they landed into generational wealth, most people start saving with $0. And so if you get back to that place, accept it, sit with it, and then start up again and celebrate your wins. Find somebody who is doing the same thing as you and see if you can be accountability partners. Hey, I was able to save $2 today, or I found a quarter on the street, or I got a bonus and I'm putting $100 of that into savings. Whatever it is, no matter how small it is, it's important to acknowledge, even just to yourself, if it's just even to yourself, it's important to acknowledge that you were able to take this step and that you had a win. However small it may be, it's still a win and it's still a step toward reaching that goal. So then you may be wondering, okay, I have a jar, I have an envelope, I have a cash pouch, I have a wallet. Where should I put my money if I want it to make money? And my answer to that is one of my favorite tools, and that is a high yield savings account. So a lot of people are afraid of high yield savings accounts because you're not walking into a bank to physically make a deposit. High yield savings accounts are safe because you can find high yield savings accounts. Most of them are FDIC insured. And so they're going to hang on to your money and they're going to protect it. They pay a higher than average interest rate. So your savings account at Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or even at your local credit union is earning you 0.01% in interest. At a high yield, with a high yield savings account, you're going to get a higher than average interest rate. Currently, my bank is paying me 3.3%, which is not the highest. There are other banks out there, other online banks that pay a higher interest rate, but I also don't have the mental capacity to be chasing every interest rate when I find it. I found a bank that I really like and pays a decent rate. They were paying one of the highest rates a couple years ago, and that has gone down. And I'm satisfied with where I'm at, and so I'm just going to stay there, earning my 3.3%. And they're free. There are the really good ones will not have any required minimums, and they're not going to charge you for keeping your money into their accounts. So that's a really important thing to look for when you're searching for an online bank. So I have ADHD and I'm a caregiver to two people. I manage their finances, I manage their health care. Um, I have to manage my own finances and my own health care, and I'm also helping my kids learn how to do all this while also coaching and teaching. And a lot of the times I'm overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do, like establishing my savings goals and paying my bills. So I use a variety of tools. I use a paper planner to write in my bill due dates. In fact, I started doing this a few years ago. I just have, a paper planner and I have, um, you know, every month I have when I'm going to have like oh, can you guys not see that? Oh, there it is. Okay. I just write in the days, that I have money going into my savings. So I know to expect a withdrawal. And then I have the dates that a bill is due, because even if it's an automatic deduction from my account, if it's bill pay or if it's going to be paid some other way, I need to know what's coming. I need to have it in front of me. So I use a paper planner. Um, but use whatever visual or tactile aid, um, or tool to help you keep track of your savings and of your other financial bits and pieces. So, savings trackers. A savings tracker is a kind of a cool way. It's a visual aid. It's a way to keep track of your savings goals. You can stick it up on a wall and you can color it in every time you reach a certain metric. Post-it notes. Um, Post-it notes are helpful because they're small and they're colorful. For me, they're visually appealing, and so I line them up on the inside of my office door, to keep track and to have that the color of it attracts my eye because I like to see shiny things. There are banking and productivity apps. Microsoft To Do, I think, is free, and there's a free app called Todoist, and you can just download those to your phone if you want to use a phone or an iPad or device, and you just put in the things that you want to do, and then you can check them off as you go. So those are kind of helpful. I tend to use Microsoft To Do when I remember to use it. Sometimes I don't remember because I'm always making lists by hand. Using a paper planner like the one I showed you for writing in your due dates or for writing in withdrawals. The paper planner is also really helpful if you want to remember to increase a payroll deduction, for example. Back when I was talking about having $5 deducted from your paycheck into savings, you want to revisit that in 3 months, then make a note in your planner 3 months from when you start doing that to have that increased. Or set a reminder once a month or once every 2 months to go into your bank to make a deposit. A calendar app would be helpful if you don't want to use a paper planner. And jars. Save your jars. Save your pickle jars, your peanut butter jars or whatever kind of jar. Save one, and you could even put labels on it, quarters in this one, dollar bills in this one, and just watch how they grow. So to recap, I do want to share with you that I've just recently hired two very part-time caregivers to help me take care of my sister. And one of the things that is really helpful for me with that is that I'm going to be able to have more time to dedicate to figuring all of my own savings goals out. Um, the caregiver, I'm not paying them out of pocket, but these are caregivers that are coming in to help with my sister. And I think it's really important to ask for help, whether you're trying to figure out a way to save, whether you want to open a high yield savings account, whether you need a ride to the bank, or you need to set something up. As somebody who is hyper independent, it's been really hard for me to ask for help. But now that I have these people coming into my home to help me, I'm going to use that time to work on some of my other goals, one of which is figuring out more of my savings. So we're going to recap with microsaving and what it is. It's a way to build the habit of saving money. And microsaving doesn't have to be related to money. There are little micro things that you can do to build other kinds of habits. This one just happens to be about money and about saving because so many of us have a difficult time kind of figuring out how to get started when we're told that we need to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses um, saved for an emergency. Well, not all of us can do that. Not everybody has um, the ability. Some of us are on very restrictive budgets. Some of us can't have more than a certain dollar amount in savings or in assets because of government programs. Make it a game and start slow. By gamifying savings, it kind of adds a little bit more excitement to it and helps you look forward to reaching that goal and to building that habit. Expect setbacks. If you have $50 saved toward your $100 goal and you need to withdraw $40 because of an unexpected bill, that's going to take you back. That's going to take you down to having $10. And so now you're 90 days away from your $100 goal. You're $90 away from your $100 goal, but that's okay. Celebrate the fact that you actually had something in savings that you could pull from to pay for that thing that you needed to pay for. And remember that almost everybody, started at zero. We didn't all grow into, we didn't all, land in wealth. And unless somebody's giving you $500 to stick in savings, most of us are starting at zero. Share your wins. Find an accountability partner, start a group, or put it on social media and say, hey, is there anybody else out there that practices micro saving? I'm trying to reach a goal of $100 by December 31st, and I've just saved my first $10. That's a big deal, and that's something we're celebrating. And if you can, keep your money in a high yield savings account so that that money grows for you. And that's all. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you.
So I keep turning. So excellent. Oh, okay. Let me turn off the recording and we can do question
Okay.
and answers. This is fantastic.
Okay.
Just a moment
And I
here.
will stop sharing my screen here. I can figure out how to
Okay.
do that. Hmm.